Good morning. You're live with TST Radio. I am your host, Marcus Johnson. Today we're going to go and get started with college football. On last night, we had Clemson and Virginia Tech face off. Clemson really just dominated the game. Watson went 32 for 48 for 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Clemson had 442 total yards. Georgia Tech had 124. Thompson went from 4 for 13 with 29 yards. Clemson just really just dominated. They dominated on every part of the stat sheet. They had 24 first downs to Georgia Tech's 11. Georgia Tech really couldn't get anything started. I really expected more from Clemson, even though they did win last night. I think it was 26-7, but I expected more. I thought the score was going to be like 43-46, something like that, to 0. That's what I thought it was going to be. So I'm still not impressed by Clemson, even though they did win. I'm not impressed. I'm still not impressed with Watson. They still got to show me something. They should. They just got to. Watson got to show me more. His last year was he had too great of a season last year to come in and be mediocre and for us to praise him like we did last year. So he had to show me a lot more. Moving on, we have USC and Utah on tonight. We have USC and Utah. USC is coming in with Davis would need to. He would need to get it going on the ground. USC is coming in as a favorite. Utah defense is allowed 105 yards, so Davis will need to hit that 100-plus yardage range on the ground for USC to win. Their passing will be there. I think Brownie will get his numbers. They have some big-time receivers that can stretch the ball down the field. So I feel like they will get their passing yards, but they need to get it on the ground. Utah has two offensive weapons in Patrick and McCorrick, so they will make some big plays downfield. But the only thing is those plays are not turning into touchdowns. They're only averaging 26 points a game. With those two, they got to do better in the red zone. They got to turn these big plays into touchdowns instead of throwing 60-yard passes, getting down to the 10 or the 20, and don't put it in, have to kick a field goal. That's not going to do anything. You're not going to win big games like that. So Utah would need to focus more on getting the ball in the end zone. Like I said, they're making big plays, but they're not getting the ball in the end zone, and they will need to get it in the end zone to beat USC on tonight. Moving on, we have Georgia and Ole Miss. Ole Miss has lost 10 straight games to Georgia, so they'll be looking to bounce back and kill that streak that Georgia has going on. Ole Miss has lost 2 games to 2 top teams coming into this season. The second half has been their downfall. They'll go up by 19 points and lose it. Ole Miss is a good team, just needs to finish ball games. They really need to focus on finishing ball games. Ingram, their tight end, is having an unbelievable season. Had a great game against Alabama on last week. This team just needs to finish the game. Just finish the game. They're proving themselves as a one-half team. And to compete in the SEC, well, to compete in college football, period, you have to play 4 quarters. Play all 4 quarters. Just with Mississippi State, they've learned you have to play all 4 quarters. So that's what Mississippi State needs to work on. They need to work on playing all 4 quarters. Hugh Freeze needs to motivate those guys to, even though if they go up 60-0, they need to work on playing all 4 quarters. Georgia is coming. They're coming out. They're starting slow. They're starting real slow this year. This team has some weapons. They have a great defense. We'll need to make some stands going into this game with Ole Miss with their big playability with Chad Kelly. So their defense will need to make some stands. Georgia's defense is a weakness this year. They're allowing 340 yards this season, 214 passing, 126 rushing. So Georgia's defense would really need to step up because Ole Miss can make some big plays as you seen last year. So they will need to play excellent on the defensive side of the ball. Kirby needs to get those boys ready to play hard-nosed football coming into this game. Those DBs are going to have to be sharp. Like I said, Chad Kelly can throw it down the field. And he has some receivers that will go and get it. So they will need to polish up that defense. Moving on to the Big Ten, we have Wisconsin and Michigan State. This game will be won in the trenches, I believe. Both teams love to run the football and pound you to death. This will be like more of a SEC game to vibe game to me than a Big Ten game. I see this game being like a Alabama and LSU the 6-9 game. I feel like it's not going to be high scoring. It's going to be a pounded out game. Both teams do great rushing the football, averaging 200 plus yards for the season. Their defense really don't allow much. Their defense don't allow much running room, on both sides. For Wisconsin and Michigan State, Wisconsin's only allowing 82 yards, and Michigan State is only allowing 72 yards on the ground. So it will be kind of hard to find room to run, but both teams' philosophies is to run the football. So that would be very intriguing to see. That's my type of game to watch. Those hard-fought, low-scoring games. I love those type of games. I think it will be a battle with which quarterback can make the most plays. Whichever quarterback wins the passing battle, that's who wins this game versus Wisconsin and Michigan State. It's going to be a great one. So make sure that you tune into that. Tennessee and Florida. Two of the most overrated teams coming into this season, I think. They are finally taking the field against each other. Their fans have been very hyped about this game. It's been a lot of trash talk between the fans or whatever. So it's great to finally see these two teams play. Both teams will need to play a complete game. Like run, pass, defense, special teams will all play a factor in this game. Florida has the advantage on the defensive side of the ball. Their defense is playing great, only allowing 129 yards, 87 on the ground, 42 passing. So their defense is playing awesome. Tennessee will need Dobbs to be very consistent. They would need him to run the football, some design runs. They would need Hurts to come in and do his part on the ground by pounding the ball. That the backup running back, can't think of his name right now, but he's more of their speed back. He will need to play a factor in this game also. So Tennessee will need their stars to step up and make some plays to get that W, but I'm going to get a W to Florida. I think Florida's going to pull that one out. Let's move on to LSU and Auburn. Both teams are on the hot seat. Well, as head coaches, both teams are on the hot seat. I think this is a must-win game for both teams. So offense are struggling for both teams. There's their weaknesses. Their quarterbacks will have to play excellent. Whichever quarterback plays the best wins the game. I feel like I've seen reports that Woody Barrett is being worked into the game plan. I'm guessing Gus is going to consider going back to the 3 quarterback system. I don't know why, but I've seen Woody Barrett working in some plays. So that would be very good to see how they use him. I don't recommend them go back to the 3-back. I think they should start off Franklin, work Sean White in. But that's not what Gus is going to do. Hopefully they can produce more on the offensive side of the ball. I am going to give the W to Auburn. I think Auburn is going to pull this out. I think they're going to put some offensive plays together. I think Gus has finally figured out that it's not the players, it's him. So I think they're going to put it together. I think Auburn is going to get this W. Moving on to the NFL on last night, New England versus Houston. New England came in, won that game 27-0. Turnovers really killed Houston. It really played a factor in Houston. They had 3 turnovers. Yards was pretty much, total yards for both teams was pretty much even. They had more first downs. Actually, Houston had more total yards, more first downs. Just turnovers killed the game. You can't turn the football over. Turnovers will kill you. Moving on to high school, Wetumpka versus Greenville on tonight is their homecoming. Elmore County versus Montgomery Catholic is their homecoming. At the Crampton Bowl tonight, Carver versus Lee. And on last night, we had JD versus Lanier. JD got whipped 36-12. Lanier came out, won that game. I kind of figured they was going to win that with their excellent quarterback play. Well, I'm not going to say excellent, but they have very good quarterback play in their quarterback. So they have some players that catch the football, some receivers, have some guys that run the ball. Their defense is very sound. They don't give up much yards on the ground. So their defense is very sound. We're going to go back to Wetumpka. Since it's their homecoming, I'm going to get some quick facts for all the Wetumpka fans, some quick history, some things that you might have didn't know. Some of these things I didn't know. So here we go. We're going to start with team records. In the history of team records since Wetumpka's been playing, they are 522 and 439 and 33. Their winning percentage is 54%. They have 6 area titles. They won those in 1981, 1984, 1987, 1991, 1995, and 2010. The area record is 106-91. They have produced 106 All-Star players, 1 NFL player. Their home record is 226 and 142 and 8. Away record is 187 to 186 and 11. They have had 60 winning seasons, 40 losing seasons. Most points in a season they have scored. Most wins in a season, is 13. That was accomplished in 1995. Most losses in a season was 9, which was in 1972. They have 5 10-win seasons. Most points scored in a game is 86. Most points scored in a season is 505. Most points allowed in a game is 78. Most allowed in a season is 352. Their last shutout on the defensive side of the ball was actually this year. It was 8/26/2016. Last time being shut out was 8/27/2013. The defense have been able to produce 200 shutouts. They have been shut out 180 times. The longest streaks Wetumpka's ever had was 14. The longest losing streaks is 8. Their playoff record is 15-24. They have 24 appearances. In the first round, in the playoffs they are 10-14. In the second round of the playoffs, they are 4-6. In the third round, they are 1-3. In the semifinals, they are 0-1, and they have never reached the finals. So maybe they can change that this year and make the finals and get them some history in that. I'm going to give you a rundown of the best seasons by decades. I'm going to quickly do this before we run out of time. 2010 through 2016, they were 37-33. 2000 through 09, they were 67-43. 1990 through 99, they were 68-43. 1980 through 89 was 61-46. 1970 through 79 was 46-44. 1960 through 69, that was 58-36. 1950 through 59, that was 54-40. So Those are some quick facts. Thank you for tuning in. That is my time for today. This is TST Radio. Go out and support your teams tonight. Thank you.